this wonderful aerial view of the Chengdu Sports University campus. A very warm welcome to you wherever you're watching these pictures. This is day 3. It's ultimate time here at the World Games Chengdu 2025. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. A big day here. Let's get straight into it. Introducing Charlie Eisenhood, who's alongside me for a very important showdown for Australia, perhaps less so for Canada. Our first match of the day. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning, Brendan. So great to be here. Another hot, sunny day in Chengdu. Maybe some storms in the forecast later today. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But yes, a game here that's not going to affect the outcome of the positions in the pool. Canada has already locked it up. They will be the #1 seed in Pool B. They've locked up a spot in the semifinals, and Australia is eliminated. But this is a game for Australia that's about national pride, that's about playing up to the level that they're capable of. Canada's still going to have to take this game seriously. They're going to want to get in and out as quickly as possible, not get anybody hurt, not spend too much time in the sun. But I think Australia is probably going to come out with some renewed focus after a couple of really disappointing games to start their tournament.
Yeah, they looked a little heavy-footed in the last couple of times that we've seen them, and really not quite the pizzazz that we probably expected from the Australians, and to which they announced themselves when I first saw them here in Chengdu going through some training earlier on in the week. They just didn't seem to be able to bring it out here to the stadium, and I can't quite imagine why.
Yeah, it's been a combination of factors. They've had some strong players not really have good tournament. Alex Gann, their center handler, having a really tough go. Their offensive structure's been a little off at times. They weren't really getting any defensive pressure against the Colombians yesterday, who just had 1 turnover in the game. I mean, that kind of efficiency at this level is unheard of. Another hot day, as you saw there, 30 degrees Celsius, as we take a look at today's schedule. And really, it's all about the 2 games here. Germany, Japan coming up at noon local time. And then at 5:30 p.m., Colombia and France. The winners of those games through to the semifinals, the losers into the consolation bracket.
Interesting days ahead. So if you're the Canadian team here, Charlie, what are you doing? You're resting your guns? Because as you say, they are already through, likely to come up against the Germans in the playoffs and the semis.
Typically, in this situation, teams would sit their starters. But with just 14 players on the roster, you don't have that luxury here. So they're still going to play their team. They're probably going to spread out their minutes. If anybody's a little bit hurt, maybe they get some more points off. I doubt they're going to sit anybody completely, because it puts more mileage on everyone else's legs. So a difficult spot to be in if you're Canada, but you kind of want to just try to play clean offense and get in and get out, punch the clock.
Yes, we've got a big day here in Chengdu, as Charlie was saying. We've got Canada, Australia upcoming in just a moment. Having a look there at the standings in Group B, you can see the Canadians absolutely dominant at the moment. 2 from 2 from them. And later on this evening, it is the Colombia-France match. It's our last match of the day, which will probably determine the other activity here in Pool B. Germany versus Japan will be our second match of the day. That's coming up at 12 noon. Then it's USA-China in the early afternoon, and then on to that all-important Colombia-France showdown to wrap up our 3 incredible days of ultimate. And then we're down to the big podium showdowns, Charlie.
Yes, so the USA and Canada are already through, and we have the 2 games today to decide who will face off against those teams in the semifinals.
Semifinals tomorrow. So what are we thinking? Germany through to face off against Canada?
Well, I think that Germany-Japan game coming up in 2 hours is going to be fascinating. 2 totally different styles. The teams haven't faced off at the World Games in 20 years. So there's not a lot of experience playing against each other. It's going to be mostly relying on watching film. And I think that both teams have a path to victory. I expect both offenses to have a lot of success. Germany with some really big, strong aerial players like Ledman Walczak and Konrad Schloer, and the speed and the hucking ability of Japan. They've looked a little more efficient overall, but I think that Germany probably has the best players in the game. So I can't wait to see that one later today.
It's going to be fascinating indeed as we welcome for the first time onto the stadium here today players in this important showdown, particularly for Australia. For Canada, perhaps less so. But the Australians look like they're up for it today. Canadian, well, they've certainly been in very good form. So what can Australia bring to this wonderful facility here in Chengdu? The World Games 2025 in Chengdu. Let's go down and introduce you then. There's Alex Gann that Charlie was speaking of earlier on. He's, I'm sure, going to have a super game here today. Interesting to see no gloves here today. He wore them yesterday.
Yeah, a little change up. Sam McGuckin, the number 7, Alex Prentice, number 9, and there's Gann showing off the number 10.
Meehan in at 14 today, and alongside her, the very experienced Olivia Carr. Pigeon here, Angela Pigeon. We've seen her go around, and alongside her is Georgia Egan Griffiths as well.
The big fist bump. Oh my.
Indeed.
Oh my. Rob Andrews taking her out.
The captain asserting himself here at the moment. So Rob Andrews got a big game in him, I'm sure, today.
Yeah, he was so impactful 3 years ago. He's been a little muted. I'd like to see him try to get open in the deep space a little bit more in this one.
And another one who's going to have an important impact today is Kyle Weah there alongside him. Jonathan Keys in at 28 today. Lanamitis here, 31, also going to be very, very busy, I would suggest. And this player as well, Kat Phillips.
The legend. Kat Phillips, a long-time Australian Football League professional player.
Indeed. Aussie rules could come in handy today underneath some of those high frisbees, I reckon. James Bray and also Bill Foreman out at 55. That's the Australian team. And Rogaki, the coach alongside him, just wondering what she's been having to say. She's into sort of mental health and well-being, and I would say that she's been working pretty heavy. Let's go down and have a look at the Canadian co-captain, Molly Wedge there. Alongside her is Thomas Edmonds. This guy, Chatha, has been absolutely all over the shop for Canada over the last couple of days.
Yeah, Gaganchov has been the best thrower at this tournament from a hucking position.
Beaudry, too, has been the sort of cement. And also Jacobson here, been setting up some very impressive attacks by the Canadians. Alongside is Kimura. Savoie Galin in at 33 today. And Malcolm Bryson as well has figured in some big plays for Canada over the last.
Superb defender.
Dos Santos is there. Alongside her, Auger Seman. If he gets cracking in the shades and cap, watch out. Mark Lloyd, co-captain, takes a bow. The vet, athlete of the year a couple of years ago. Huge impact on the game. Dion, Kurahashi, and then the big boy on the end, Twin Snyder. Handy lineup, Charlie.
Well, this Canadian side has been the best team through 2 days. And, you know, the U.S. will still be the favorite if these two teams end up facing off in the finals. But Canada has looked so much better than they did 3 years ago. They've got all the pieces. They're balanced. Both offense and defense has looked quite strong. And, you know, considering the form that each of these teams is in, even with Canada not needing to win this game, they should win this game because they are clearly the better team right now.
Yes, it would give them a very good momentum as well, getting through to the semis, I'm sure, if they get out there and give the Australian team something to think about here today. But the Aussies, of course, they're known for their resolute pluckiness. And put an Australian in a corner, they're always going to come out fighting. So let's see whether these Aussies can do the job here today. As I was saying, Anna Rogaki down there, the coach of the Australian team, she's a psychologist by profession, and I'm sure she'll be directing the team in the right frame of mind as they come out and face this Canadian team.
And it doesn't feel like the problem has been mindset for the Australians. It's been more tactical. They have not had very good offensive structure. They've had a hard time getting the disc moving consistently, and like I said at the start of the show, they just have not had good performances from some of their top players. We'll see if they can clean it up against this very strong Canadian side.
Likewise. Well, I just think the strategies and the plays by the Canadian team has just been so impressive over the last couple of days. So let's see how it goes. It's all down to this for Australia. They've got to come away with something if they can. So Canada will open it up, and we'll see the Australian offensive lineup first up here today. So play underway then here at the World Games 2025 Chengdu. It's Australia versus Canada, two Commonwealth nations going hard at it here today. Prentice into the middle, looking for some options long. Across here to Jonathan Keys. Again, some action down the line. Bit of a slip there. by Sam McGuckin. Down the line, looking good, Australia. Bill Foreman across, and Foreman delivers. And Australia straight away, so that's a nice opener for them. Foreman across to Pigeon there, and that's a good start.
Yeah, that's a sparkling offensive point. We haven't seen much of that from Australia. Notably, no Alex Gann out there on the offensive line. They moved him to D yesterday after he was struggling for the second game in a row, and they've got a kind of a new look O-line out there, and boy, that was efficient offense from the Aussies.
So Aussie, one up.
You know, as much as the Canadians may be telling themselves that, you know, they still got to go out there and play, we're trying to get in, we're trying to get out, it's hard to bring the same level of focus and intensity when you know in the back of your mind that the outcome of the game does not affect the future of your tournament. And so that will be the challenge for them, is especially on the defensive side of the disc.
So Australia then will invite the Canadians to come and have a crack at them. The Australian captain, Rob Andrews, sends it down long and hard through this very humid air here in Chengdu. Possibilities of thunderstorms later on today. Let's have a look at the Canadian O then as they bring it out of their end zone. This guy's going to play a big day today. Savoy Gallant looking for some options, goes inside. Canada just looking for some vector openings here at the moment. Long, very long. Who's on the end of that? None other than the big boy.
I was just getting ready to note that Lauren Kamura was being marked by a male defender. Australia loves to make some of those cross-gender switches, but in the process of the cross-gender switching, they completely lost track of Quinn Snyder down on the other end.
Slides, the big boy, and this is what he's in the Canadian team to do, and there he was just waiting and just pops it into place. So it's one apiece here.
And it's been these kinds of breakdowns that have been the problem for Australia. You know,
Absolutely.
it's nice to have the strategy of switching your players, but you have to communicate the switch. You have to get somebody down there. I mean, he was open by 50 yards.
Incredible, wasn't it? Okay, so it's one apiece here at the moment. Canada scores, so they will pull the Frisbee and send it back down to the Australian O. Let's see whether they can come back again, hold on to this. Australia just marshalling. Linda Modest there at the back. Looking at some options. McGuckin is there as well. Here's McGuckin. Looking ominous. Got some options up front. Doesn't go there at the moment. Good save by the Aussies. Across to Linda Modest again. Options up front. Australians trying to make some moves here. Coming across. Cat Phillips going to have a big impact on this game today. Finds the gap, back to Phillips and on, and that's pretty handy stuff. So Australia then finding the gaps here. McGuckin started that off and sort of finished it as well.
Yeah, and Cat Phillips heavily involved in that point. A really nice cut to open things up out of the stack and then running the show in the red zone. And just where has this been for Australia? We've just needed to see a lot more of Cat Phillips touching the disc. And nice point there, a couple of smooth offensive points for Australia, but you just wonder what could have been.
Number of this team, I was just looking through some of the stats, Charlie. Number of this team come from the Ellipsis club in Melbourne. A surprising number of them, in fact, and
yeah,
interesting to see.
Experience with high-level mixed play. And, you know, that's why it's so surprising the Aussies have struggled so much. You know, silver medalists 3 years ago. Definitely had a couple of pieces. You know, I think they really missed Tom Tullett, Cupcake, his nickname, and he was fantastic for them last time. And they just have missed that dynamic handler.
Meehan then gets things underway. Here's the Canadian team. Looking for some options. Down the line, looking nice. Inside. To Santos. Kurahashi. Back inside. Oge Sema looking for some work. Here's the first look at Jacobson today. Oje Sema again. Canada deep into the zone now. Options up front, looking for it. Back to Oje Sema. Just props for a moment. Looks what he's got. Left, it's good. And he goes there. So Canada come away again. So that's a great scoring there by Kimura.
And she's just looked fantastic this week. I mean, Lauren Kimura was one of the very top players in Canada, and then got a pretty significant injury that kept her out for about a year, and then she came back, just wasn't quite the same player, but has clearly gotten all the way back to the level we've seen from her before, and she's just been rock solid for the team through these first 2 games and change.
Alex Gann then, number 10. So that a Canadian team just working a couple of options here.
Interesting to see the Aussies there again with some cross-gender matchups, but I don't know if it's really working. I mean, Oje Sema was able to get open at will.
Bit of a roller here. And that's away. So Australia will bring it back into the field of play.
That one hard.
Glimpse there of Dos Santos. So Alex Prentice then with the disc. Wow, nice get there by McGuckin. Just holds on to it. Got so much way out. So some discussion here, Charlie.
Yeah, just talking about the pick and where the disc should end up. It's going to stay with Weah.
Mark Lloyd there, the experienced Canadian co-captain, having a little bit of a discussion. Weah keeps it, Jacobson right there, McGuckin around the corner, holds on. Options on the inside, doesn't go there.
I think Lloyd got clipped as McGuckin reached out to make that catch. I don't think there's a call, just got a little bit hurt.
So McGuckin plays on. Keys, Weah. Again, options up front. The Australians just trying to load in. Into the red zone they go. Andrews having a look. Opts to go inside. Weah accepts that. Got some options inside, and there it is. The Australians come away with another one, so they're keeping everything intact at the moment. The Australians up 3-2 at the moment, so putting together some nice combinations, Charlie.
Yeah, no turnovers yet, although they have Sam McGuckin to save for that, to thank for that, because he saved a couple of passes that might have been turnovers, and a little bit of a pass behind for Rob Andrews. Weah going with the backhand there, and might have wanted to throw the forehand a little quicker to snap that backhand off, and nice adjustment there from Andrews. So some steady hands from the Aussies.
This player will have a critical role here today. Kyle Weah. I need to remind you, it's another very warm day here in Chengdu. Humidity is up as well, with these thunderstorms lurking roundabouts. So let's see what Canada can do. Up they come. Options up front. Oje Sema pops it out. Looking around. Once again, Canada just forcing the pace here at the moment. Australia swarming defence. Edmonds looks inside. Tap and go. Edmonds there as well. He receives. Setting things up the front here. Australian defence pressing hard. Canada, Edmonds through. And there's the pass that gets him another goal. Charlie, what are you thinking?
Well, the Australian defense there, they have almost a 4-person cup around the disc, and yet they're allowing passes directly through the middle over and over again. I mean, it was just, what pressure are they creating here? I mean, that last pass obviously wide open for Edmonds as he kind of chisels inside of the defense, and everyone just disc watching. It's unfocused, it's ineffective, and I'm not quite sure what they're trying to get from that defensive structure when they're not applying any pressure to at least even throw the disc around the outside. Canada just went straight through the middle that entire point.
Consolation for Australia is at the moment, they're not a breakdown. It's 3 apiece here. It's Australia 3, Canada 3. Charlie calling it at the moment, and I must say Robin also over the last couple of days has had a couple of things to say about the Australian structure as well. She too has been a little quizzical, shall I say.
Yeah, and what's surprising about it, Brendan, is that they looked pretty good a month ago at a warm-up tournament, and I don't know if other teams have just adjusted well, or if Australia peaked a little too early. Can be a problem.
Well, let's see if Mr. Gann here can make a little bit of a difference as he comes on. Overlapping here with McGuckin. Down to Prentice. Gann coming in to accept some action. Goes wide. Australia trying to open things up a little bit here through Carr. Gann again. Not over the advantage line at the moment. This is looking better for Australia, but just out. Pushing it a little wide and maybe just a little rushed.
How do you explain it? I mean, a wide open cut there from Keys and just a missed forehand up that sideline. And I feel like we've seen that same turnover from Australia 4 or 5 times this tournament.
So there it is. Potentially the first break here as Canada comes back at them now. So the Australian offense, and look at this, they're going deep. It's a 2-1 play here, but it's good. Australia upset at least for the moment through Pigeon, that attack.
Yeah, quick call from Beaudry. In real time, it did not look like a foul. Let's take a look here. Some contact maybe on the arm. It kind of just looks like Beaudry dropped it, but.
I was also looking at the disc, so you might have been coming into me. I went straight up. So someone have perspective?
So you're Pigeon asking for.
Maybe they want to go for the replay. They've got the advantage of that on the big screen. At the moment, all they can see is the picture that you're seeing here.
Yeah, I think they're taking a look. Everybody's waiting for a replay.
This is what they're seeing in the main stadium here at the moment. They're looking around.
Not any more than what's been said. Retracted. Okay.
Okay, so
good check.
Getting some perspective from the other players on the field. Beaudry takes the call back. We've seen a couple of calls from Beaudry that were a little questionable that she's then taken back after some consideration. So good to see that.
Well, Australia breathe again. At least they've got control of the Frisbee for the moment. Gann offering some options in the backfield. Comes around the corner. Looks a little pressed there. McGuckin is making himself available as well on the inside. Doesn't go there. Foreman going to get to the action. Keys coming up to it. Here's Gann again. They've got to settle the Australians. They've got some options going inside. Prentice again, just getting a little bump there. Doesn't mind that. Canadians pressing in defence. Down the line they come. Pigeon looking for options inside. Has now got them, and there's a nice jump into space. So Australia then, through Keys, hold on to that O. They're not broken, which is a consolation, Charlie.
First point with turnovers, 1 apiece. I like the look from Chata. I think it was the right idea to go to Beaudry there with steps, and Beaudry just didn't catch it. And you know, difficult play to make, but one that you expect Beaudry to make more often than not. certainly. And nice job by Australia in the counter-attack. And some good play from Keys so far in this game. That's his first goal.
So it's 4-3 Australia at the moment, and they come off for a little bit of a drinks break. So they'll be sucking in a few deep breaths. They'll be having a little think about things at the moment, Charlie, as we take a little bit of a break as well and reflect on that opening stanza. Australia doing it, but they're just looking a little rushed, a little...
Yeah, and I mean, it's been more of the same for Australia, just not sharp on either offense or defense. And, you know, resets haven't been super clean. They just haven't really ever found any kind of rhythm this week. And it can be hard when, you know, you get ready for a big tournament like this and you do all this preparation and you come out and then things aren't working. It can be difficult to kind of refine that. That's why I was impressed with Colombia, who came out in game one and looked way off their typical game. Got beat badly by Canada, and then came back the next day and had a one-turnover game where they absolutely dominated this Australian team. That said, this Australian team not putting up a lot of resistance right now, so we'll see how Colombia handles the French later today.
It looks to me like the Canadians have settled onto a little bit of a pattern here. They're just going to play it out. They're going to go hard, and if things go to plan, they'll come away with a nice win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Seems to me the strategy that they're playing.
Yeah, you can feel the lower intensity level compared to what we've seen the first 2 days, and it makes sense. You know, I actually talked to some Canadian players last night, and I asked them, how are you gonna approach this game, knowing that it doesn't matter? And they said, look, you know, with 14 players, there's no real choice. We got to play everybody, and we're gonna. I'll quote Thomas Edmonds, who said, "We're gonna make business decisions." Meaning that, you know, if there's a big layout or like a dangerous hospital pass situation, maybe you're not going to try to make that play when you would in a semifinal, because you don't want to get hurt, you don't want to roll an ankle, you don't want to lose anybody at this point. The number one thing is that they come out of this game fully healthy and ready to play tomorrow. And
with another win, which would do them good. But yeah, you can just see that sort of business-like mentality that the Canadians have adopted here. It's Australia with all the play that they need. And I would say that getting through that first stanza and leading 4-3 here in the first of 4 matches at this wonderful facility, they'll probably be feeling a little bit better. I think Gan had a couple of nice steadiers out there as well. He's going to be pretty critical to them to marshal some of this Australian team in the latter stages of this particular showdown with the Canadians as well. Foreman was there, and as you also pointed out in the commentary as well, Kat Phillips looking like she's coming up and going to take a little bit of a workload today as well. So, mixed ultimate flying disc here. We're at the water break, and we're at a level 2 category decision here, which means that the water breaks are traditionally 3, but because we've gone to level 2, they add the extra minute. Means that the extra respite is given to the teams. And a reminder that it's the best of 13 here. Usually ultimates go, or ultimate matches go to 100, but here we're going to the 13 number. Okay, they're all rehydrated. They're back out on the field. Let's see how Canada respond to this Australian momentary lead. They lead 4-3 as play resumes here in Chengdu. As you can see, sort of not the blue skies that we enjoyed yesterday. There's this sort of slightly ominous, perhaps, light cloud cover. Still very, very warm. No direct sunlight. Very warm conditions out there for the players, and very humid as well.
I'm not going to complain about a little cloud cover, Brendan. I got to be honest.
It's the UV, though. It's catching us, though, Charlie. The UV is catching us. Got to watch that UV.
Indeed. It's been hot and humid here in Chengdu, as expected.
Well, then we'll get things underway. Let's see what the Canadian O can do here. Australia just holding on last time. Surviving a turnover, but coming back to get it done. Aussies in the crowd giving them a lot of support. Here comes Canada. Going wide for the moment. Oh, interesting dive there by the Australians, getting a little bit desperate. Coming inside.
Much prefer this matchup look from Aussies. That much more intense, a lot more pressure already.
Hashi there getting involved. Down here to Oga Semar, going long and looking for the return play, and he gets in there. slides it over the line. He's a real athlete, this guy, Semar. And that was good to go. So it's Canada 4, Australia 4. Check this out.
Yeah, look, this is a great move. Just acting like a little soft clear back to the stack, and instead puts his foot in the ground and explodes to the front cone. A great find. Sama involved in 3 of the 4 scores for Canada in this one. 2 assists, and now the goal here going to the sliding grab.
This beautiful turf, which has just been laid for this competition as well. It's looking resplendent out there. Luxurious playing surface, and it's absolutely glorious. This stadium, the facilities here at the Sports University are absolutely phenomenal.
A brilliant place to hold a competition of this caliber.
So the Canadian offense do the job. Let's see whether the Aussies can come back. They've got to hold on here and push this Commonwealth country all the way to the end. Inside they come. McGuckin goes cross field, goes down the line. Inside they go, up to McGuckin again, and that is very pleasant. Just floats across the Canadian defense there, and Pigeon is in. The Aussies on their feet, they're happy.
Yeah, the offense has looked a lot better for Australia so far in this game. And I like the involvement from McGuckin. He's got a goal and an assist now. Angela Pigeon with her second goal. She's got an assist as well, so 3 for 5 on being a part of the scoring combination. Got the goggles out.
Looking good. Okay, so Canada then. Just listening into the effects mic there, see if we get any insights into that Australian team. Just getting a few little words in the background. Captain Rob Andrews there, just marshalling his team. So the Australians get it into play. High hanging pull there from the Australians. Up come the Canadians. Round the corner they come. You can hear the instructions being shouted in the background. Snyder here with a disc. Goes around the corner. Happily to Edmonds. He gets out of there as fast as he can. Back to Snyder. Okay, that's Semar. Canada looking for some options inside. Jacobson. Resetting the play here. Got options on the inside. Goes there. Canada. Hold on. Lunging hold there. They're all set. Options on the inside. Jacobson deep into the end zone as well. And there's another option out to the left here. And this guy, Savoy Gallant, whenever you want him, he's usually there.
Too much disc watching in the red zone from Australia. They tried to do some switching and they just let Gallant get completely wide open, and it was a simple 2-throw dish. I mean, see, Dos Santos, no pressure. Weah switches onto Kimura, and who's covering Gallant? I mean, that's Gann's matchup, but I don't know if there was a failed handoff. You know, decent defense the rest of the way from Australia. Thought Weah was working hard against Dos Santos, but BDS able to get open every time she needed to for a reset. It's 5 straight clean holds for Canada.
It's 5 apiece, importantly for Australia as well, though. So they're staying alive here and holding the Canadians at the moment, but looking a little pressured at times. And you get the feeling, Charlie, that they could be broken at any moment. So the disc just rolling a little wide there.
Here's a moderate complaint about whiff-diff play. Why don't we have a replacement disc here to get things back underway without having to have the player go all the way over there to pick up the disc?
Sign this man up. Full of good ideas. Okay, Foreman then. Getting things underway. McGuckin looking for options. Want to go inside is the call. Over the top. McGuckin. Foreman looking for some options. Inside again. Looking good. Just snaps it up there. McGuckin across field. And I'm not sure whether that was kept in play. I don't think it was. Again, just a little overplayed by the Australians.
Man, John O'Keefe's got to be frustrated. I mean, keeps getting open and just misfires on the passes to him. A good effort there. He tried to throw a greatest, but, you know, a diving catch, he's obviously way on the ground before he's able to send this back towards the field of play.
Clutching his left shoulder as well at the end of that. So, what can Canada make of this then? Another modest.
So second O-line turn here for Australia. Canada went with the big shot from Chata last time, looking for Beaudry. See if they try to work the unders a little bit more. It's nice to be able to have Chata pick up because he immediately threatens the deep space.
They haven't sent anybody down there at the moment, although, correction, that looks like there might be some movement up the front by the Canadians. Looking to do some work here. Coming across infield. Gallant is available, making himself available in the middle of the field. Doesn't go there for the moment. Edmonds just trying to marshal his troops at the moment. Canada just looking for some opportunities up forward. Nice cross field here. Edmonds underneath it. Options up front. Dion on it. Wedge is available up front if she's wanted. Not there at the moment. Edmonds back. There's some real space up the front end for the Canadians if they want it. Bryson.
Brilliant.
To Wedge. And Wedge and Bryson, this combination.
This D-line has been fantastic. I mean, they can beat you multiple ways on offense. And, you know, they haven't had the same level of defensive intensity in this one. They've kind of relied on Australia just making some throwing errors to get their turnovers. But when they've had the disc on offense, they've showed us that they can both go for the deep shot. And this time they grind all the way up the field. Almost every player on the field touching the disc. Bryson, instrumental.
And Wedge.
And Wedge in the end zone. What a weekend Molly Wedge is having as a defender.
And co-captain as well. It's been super for her.
Got the Callahan yesterday.
Yeah.
The lone Callahan of the tournament so far.
That was that.
And so break number one goes to Canada.
So Australia then, in the dying moments of this first half, will come back at the Canadians. They'd love to score here.
And not much wind to speak of at the moment. What I did see swirling last point was in the opposite direction that we had yesterday. So left to right. So if anything, slightly downwind right now for Australia.
Cat Phillips getting involved here alongside of McGuckin. Phillips looking for some options. Australia a little bunched. Canadian defense all over him at the moment. Phillips is going long. It's speculative, and it's too speculative. And Cat Phillips again.
Well, it was just no reset. I mean, Phillips was waiting for someone to get open in the backfield, and nothing was there. So She put up the Hail Mary hammer, and now Kimura getting called for a foul by Foreman. So you can see Kimura's going back here. Does Foreman have his jump impeded by the contact? The question really is, was that catchable without the contact? And it looks like Kimura is not gonna contest this, so an accepted call, and it's gonna be Foreman's disc on the goal line.
Wow.
And I think that's the right call. I mean, clearly Kimura stopping Foreman from being able to jump up, it still might have been uncatchable. But a breakdown in the backfield there for Australia. And they're fortunate to come away with the disc in the red zone here.
Again, Cat Phillips, you know, highly speculative hammer. What do you think, Charlie? I mean, really, was it necessary at that stage?
Well, I think the stall was getting very high, Brennan. So, you know, she was probably 1-2 seconds away from getting stalled out and having it be a turnover.
Did she not have any midfield options?
That's exactly the problem, because she had turned to the reset space and nobody was getting open. So at stall 8, she turned back upfield and threw the hammer just to try to give herself an option, and works out.
It does work out in the end. So Cat Phillips, the experience then, plays out for the Australians. They have surely an opportunity here. And that looks like they're going to take that. So Rob Andrews comes away with the intended target in that first hammer. So it's 6 apiece.
McGuckin to Andrews. Thought we might see a little more of this weekend. But that is goal number 2 for Rob Andrews, the big man.
So the captain will be feeling a little happy about things. 6 apiece here. Canada have got the break. Australia not out of it yet, however, by any means whatsoever. Playing for pride here. If you're just joining us for the first time here at the World Games 2025 in Chengdu, it's day 3 of Ultimate. This is the first of 4 matches. It's Canada, which has won its first 2, up against Australia, which has gone down in its first 2. Australia playing very much for pride here, where then brings them back into play. Canada then, this very effective offense.
Still no turnovers for the Canadian offense.
Jacobson trying to get clear, coming all the way back. Gallant here. Snyder looking for options. Goes inside. Edmonds down the line. Nice and open. Gallant inside. Kimura. Box but clear. Edmonds goes long. Shoelace stuff here. And that is as easily as you like.
Great patience from Kurahashi.
And Gallant as well just presents himself, saw the situation, ran himself into space, and thank you very much indeed.
What a great fit he's been on this roster. I mean, his speed has made him an option all over the field, and just a pressure release valve in a lot of situations. I mean, here's a perfect example. Kurahashi catches right on the goal line, is trying to get out to a reset. Good coverage in the backfield, nice playing there from Cat Phillips, but no one's ever covering Gallant. Like, they keep losing players in the end zone, and Canada is patient enough to find them.
And they're on the wings.
Yes.
They're just bunching in the center
field. They're
field.
watching the disc from center field, almost playing like a zone.
Yep. And
they keep getting burned to the edges. You're absolutely right.
So there it is, Charlie. We're at the halftime break, and Canada got the all-important goal right at the end of play there. So it's Canada 7, Australia 6. It's important for Australia that they come away with at least something from this competition. But at the moment, this Pool B showdown is going the way of the North American team. They lead 7-6. There's a 10-minute break here at the World Games 2025 in Chengdu at this wonderful day 3 of Ultimate competition. We'll take a break as well. We'll rehydrate and we'll be back for the second half. Please join us.
OK，我们看一下场边的题目。虎嗅除顶制造技艺被列入第一批国家级非物质文化遗产名录。A 选项正确 ，B 选项错误，你的选择是？选择的是 A 选项的话，就给我比个1。OK， 选择 A 选项，我们来看正确答案。好，恭喜你回答正确。我们的工作人员将我们的奖品送到这位观众手中。还有一个机会，还有一个名额，我们的声音可以再大一点。好，请过前的几位女士，哎，对，没错，就是你，请起立。OK， 看一下我们场边的题目。中国文化遗产标志是什么 ？A. 太阳神鸟 ，B. 马踏飞燕 ，C. 百鸟朝凤 ，D. 画布逐日。可以用手势告诉我选择第几个选项。好，选择的是A 选项，我们来看正确答案。好，恭喜你回答正确。我们的工作人员将我们的礼物发给这位女士。OK， 现在到了与大题目互动的时间，被扫到的观众可以尽情挥舞你的双手。继续，让我们掌声欢迎观众。好，非常快乐的是，给我们的下头打个招呼啊！好，谢谢。哇，非常不错，谢谢你，非常帅气的男士。 最后全场的观众各位细看出成都成绩，大家喊成都，大家喊成绩，3、2、1，成都，成都，成都。OK， 谢谢我们现场的所有观众，谢谢你们。
And so the players are back out on the field here. The World Games 2025 in Chengdu. This is the showdown between Canada and Australia. We resume action at the end of the first half, and the Canadians coming away with the break in that first half. They're leading 7-6 at the moment. And this team in picture have got a lot of work to do in the next few minutes or so to try and get this tournament of theirs back on track, because at the moment it looks like the Canadians semi-cruising. Charlie, am I being a little bit tough on the Aussies?
No, you're not. I mean, this Australian team has forced just one turnover from an opposing offense over now 1.5 games. And the Canada offense almost never even had a moment where it looked like they were going to turn it over. I think there was one pass that was a little bit misplaced, but every time they get into the red zone, Canada has wide open looks. And I don't know, just I feel like the structure seems like more of the problem for Australia, but it also looks like they're a little bit defeated and just not focused enough defensively. It's tough to watch in some ways, because I mean, you know what this team is capable of. Crocs finishing in second place just 3 years ago, many of the same players on the roster, and they've really just underperformed across the board.
There's Team Australia. Sending a chat to the supervisor as well there. Of course, this is a game that is self-regulated. The supervisors are there to arbitrate if necessary, but ordinarily it's the players that sort out any disputation on the stadium. If you're new to Ultimate, first to 13 will decide this clash. So slightly reduced goals required to win here in Chengdu. A concession, Charlie, to the heat and the humidity competition format?
Well, this is the format that they use, I think, partly because of the short rosters. I really like what they've been doing for this particular tournament. They've shortened the time between points down to 60 seconds. Typically, at the international level, they play 75 seconds between pulls, but it's made for a crisper flow of gameplay to have it cut down to a minute. And we've even seen teams pulling early in many cases. So here we go, second half. Australia, can they bring some intensity?
Rob Andrews, the Australian captain, got a lot on his mind, I'm sure, at the moment. Here comes the Canadian O then. And they've been pretty imperious so far. Snyder setting things up, and they go long. And this is a breakout attack here by the Canadians. And they've got options. They got Gallant inside. They don't go there. They've got options all over the park at the moment. And Dos Santos happily accepts that. And Canada get off to a flyer within 30 seconds. They've got another goal of the second half starting.
I mean, part of the thing that's making this Canada offense effective is that most of their cutters can throw deep. So they can come under, catch the disc, and send it long. And a little bit underthrown there from Snyder, but gets it well over the head of the defense. Oje Sama, no real issues, and then Dos Santos just streaking down into the end zone. Multiple options coming, forcing the Australian defense to make a choice, and BDS, easy score. But
again, I make my point, Charlie, a little bit of a neophyte to the game, but nevertheless, the Australians just leaving their flanks open here.
Yeah.
Both, they're scoring almost at will down the flanks.
Yeah, once they've gone into the red zone, it's been easy money. A little shout out to Dos Santos' club team, the Toronto Sixers. One of the top teams in North America.
Shata then, who's been a brick here in this Canadian team over the last couple of days.
A little misfire there. I think he wanted that to end up out of bounds instead of a sideline situation, and just an
overthrow then by the Australians. They're just snatching at it at the moment. The Aussies have got to settle down here.
Yeah, it's it looks like rookie mistakes. These just forehands into the turf.
So Canada D have an opportunity to come back and around. Ojay Semar up the line, cross field. Beaudry, Shatter here, and again this wonderful combination with he and Beaudry here. Nice. We are just denied. Wedge with options and goes straight there. We're just trying to get in the face but couldn't do anything about it. And Ojay Semar, again another goal here for Canada.
Pardon me, Brendan. Basically the same problem we've been seeing. Watch the players here. They're just watching the disc. They're playing a zone coverage basically at that front cone. Everyone's watching the disc, staring at this disc, and it means that it's just an easy break throw right to Ojay Semar, who has no one on him. It's so hard to play zone down in the red zone because players are just going to find the little gaps, and when you have a thrower that's as strong as Molly Wedge, and most of the players on this Canada roster, they're just going to hit those throws every time.
And Wedge, absolutely a stalwart for this Canadian team. So they lead 9-6 now.
Just one turnover in the game so far for Canada. Their D-line gave it back on the Chata Huck to Beaudry. But 0 offensive turns and just dominating in a game that doesn't even matter.
Prentice then on this warm morning here in Chengdu, Australia, on the edge of the abyss here. Trail by 3, clock's ticking. Canada in fine form as they have been all week here. 2 from 2 for the Canadian team, and again another mistake by the Australians. It's error-prone stuff, this, and Bryson will accept this very happily. Nice through to Gallant. Jacobson looking for options. Bryson. Shatter here. Jacobson opening up that wing side now. Got some big options if she wants to go all the way into the end zone. Shatter. Bryson. Always reliable. Jacobson as well. This 3, the triumvirate. Look at that.
Yeah, McGuckin getting left in the dust by Bryson. And
that combo, that 3-way combo, the trio of them, they were just playing with a team.
Yeah, beautiful red zone offense again for Canada. Second straight turnover for Alex Prentice with the forehand. And just miscue. And you see Bryson, he throws and immediately starts going, and it's just too late. I mean, McGuckin kind of looking for help, but there's none there. Too easy once again. I mean, it's just been a
heat map on this. I want to see where the Canadians are scoring, Charlie. Can you do it for us? Get a heat map up there.
Let me get the telestrator. I don't need to do much. Just draw a little box in the corners at the cones along the front of the end zone. They haven't been forced to do anything difficult as we head into our second heat timeout. They haven't had to throw any kind of little blades over the top. I mean, maybe the most difficult pass was Kirahashi having to find, I believe it was Gallant, with a little blade over the top, but there was no defense anywhere near them. So Australia just reeling.
Fundamental errors as well from the Australians. I mean, these are experienced players, and they're just putting it into the turf or making it extremely difficult for those that they're trying to get the disc off to.
Yeah.
And there's no great pressure out there. I think it's... Anyway, if they can't get the setups right, it's going to be very difficult for them just to get the finish here that they want. It's 10-6 Canada at the moment, and they've got all the time in the world here. They're enjoying a break. And we were just speculating earlier on, Charlie, and Robin was involved in the conversation as well about Australia coming up against China in the playoffs tomorrow.
Yeah, we were discussing this at halftime. I mean, China is playing better ultimate right now than Australia. I would not be surprised if China won that game. That's hard to believe. But it is going to be a real battle unless Australia cleans it up.
It would be a sensational result for Ultimate in this country if China was to get that victory. If they could get a win over Australia tomorrow in the playoffs, could you just imagine what it would do to Ultimate? I mean, this is the hotspot for Ultimate here in this country around this Chengdu campus. It's broader as well, of course, but there's a lot of Ultimate played around here. But could you just imagine what it would do nationally in China?
It would be remarkable. I mean, people would be talking about it. You know, for them to beat the reigning silver medalists, to beat a team, you know, in this Asia-Oceanic region, you know, they'll see each other at the kind of regional tournaments. It would be a stunning upset, and it feels within the realm of possibility. And, you know, you think back to the beginning of this tournament, Australia opened up with a hold and then 2 straight breaks against Team France. And you're thinking, wow, here come the Aussies right out of the gate. And then they got their doors blown off in that game. And
after the timeout.
That's right. France took that timeout.
Remember the timeout?
Yes, I do.
They were getting absolutely mauled, the French, by an Australian team that looked really capable of taking them to pieces. The timeout came, as you say, Charlie, and then that was it.
13 scores yesterday for Colombia, just 1 turnover. And Canada so far in this one with 10 scores on the board, just 1 turnover. And it speaks to the failures of the Australian defense. It has been much too easy.
I think there'll be a little bit of soul searching when the Aussies get back home to Australia. Okay, so some important minutes then on this wonderful stadium field for the Australian team now. Way closest to us in picture. Gan is back out there again. And there's just a sort of a step in this Canadian team. They've already sealed off this pool. They really don't have to extend themselves, but they've just rolled over the top of the Australians.
But the truth is, they haven't had to overextend themselves.
Correct.
They're just playing a cleaner, more efficient, smarter game, and they have a 4-goal lead as a result of that. I mean, I don't think their defense has been particularly great in the game. It's been acceptable. I mean, they haven't allowed super easy passes. I mean, you go back to the very first point of the game, Australia had a beautiful offensive possession, but otherwise, you know, Canada's been around. They've been, you know, trailing. It just hasn't been with the same level of intensities we've seen in other games, and that's completely understandable. But Australia is just giving them the disc and then failing to do enough to take it back from them.
Just had a glimpse there of the Australian coach, Shannon Regalki, as well. Anyway, let's move on, see whether the Aussies can do something here. They have the disc in hand and they have an opportunity here. And it's the Canadians that are looking to their supporters. They obviously want to try and knock this over as fast as possible. So Gan goes around the corner. Ladamont is here. What can he do? Gan finds Weah. And some long options. Weah down the end. Can't get there. Spills over the end zone.
What a grab. What a play at the back of the end zone from Kyle Weah.
I thought Weah was knocked over the end zone there, but it looks like the Canadian could be in a little bit of distress as well in that clash.
Uh-oh. And that's not what you want to see if you're Team Canada.
Is that Kimura?
I believe that's Kimura down after the play. Let's see it again. Nice shot here. Deep to the back of the end zone from Phillips. And let's see. I think Weah pretty clearly keeps this left foot in. Beautiful play.
She does. I thought she just overstepped it, but that's awesome.
And on this second angle, it looks like Kimura gets hit in the head. Oh, and it's Dos Santos. Oh, and she comes down hard. It's the knee. So it wasn't the contact up top. I beg your pardon. Dos Santos landing hard on that left knee. And wow, she's still down in the back of the end zone. I mean, it would be absolutely devastating for Team Canada to lose Dos Santos.
Yeah, you can see Weir just moving herself into that end zone as an option.
Oh, this is
Got on the end of a nice pass.
just disaster territory for Canada if this is a significant injury.
Foreman has the disc. Here comes the Canadian O. We'll keep an eye on that one, Charlie. I thought it was Kimura. Okay, on we go. Here comes Canada then. We're showing some fight from the Australians. Round the corner to Roger Semar. And then another one. Jacobson going hard here. Finds it nicely. Got some options on the inside. She'll overlap. No, she won't. Jacobson setting up some attacking options. Canadians storming into the end zone now. Dion looking inside, and there it is. Snyder again over the line.
It's just got to be a sick feeling in the pit of all these Canadian players' stomachs as they walk in another clean hold. Dos Santos still down in the back of the end zone. And I mean, look, the Canada offense has been fantastic, but literally the only thing that they needed from this game was to come out with their full 14 ready to play tomorrow. And with that now in question, it's just brutal for the Canadians.
And they're readjusting, aren't they, with Dos Santos there.
I mean, Dos Santos, such a critical piece of their offense. One of their big throwers, vital reset, connective tissue for the offense.
Chatha then with the disc in hand. Australia no going to come and build on that way out goal just moments ago. They're trailing. It's Canada 11, Australia 7. Let's see whether the Australian O can do something here. Inside to Prentice. Gann across here. Gloves are back on. Looking for some options. Goes forward. Prentice again. Gann. Overlap options are on. Australians are free up front if they want it.
Ready, kids?
Just looking for some options, but a momentary. Mark Lloyd there. Always seems to have a little bit of a word, doesn't he, Mark Lloyd? Jonathan Keys reined against him. Keys again, looking for some options inside. Clash heavily with the Canadian. Wonder whether there's going to be dispute here, actually. Mark Lloyd seemed to get in the way of the Australian, but no, they let it go.
Yeah, another miscue. And Lloyd's just beat, and Keys tries to go with a lefty backhand, and it's just way too far behind. Andrews
misses out. Here's a big break by the Canadians in reply, and this could be sensational. But it just to lose the despairing Dion.
Dion showing off some speed. Was really close to a spectacular play and a good safe layout.
Prentice goes inside. Andrews. Andrews again. To Gann. Andrews. Progressing downfield, the Australians. McGuckin. Andrews really putting something together here now. Andrews looking again.
Oh my gosh.
And again, hurried.
That's the Australian World Games in a nutshell right there.
Another turnover. So here come the Canadians. Are they going to make them pay? Seem to have all the time in the world. And once again, just wedge where you want her. And she's on the receiving end again, just puts herself always into wonderful space.
Yeah, just a blow by on Cat Phillips. And wheels fully coming off for Australia. That's 3 second-half breaks for Canada.
And we're just having a look at replays here, but Charlie, I just wonder whether you want to keep an eye off to our left of stadium. We've got DeSantis being helped off by the coaching staff.
Yes, and
meantime, Wedge, of course, celebrates here.
Dos Santos is on her feet, but she's got support on both sides as she walks over to the sideline for Canada. And you know,
it looks
walking on the replay. I mean, as soon as she landed on that knee,
but she's up, which is a
buckled, and she went straight to it. And you know, you fear the worst in these situations.
But at least she's up and she's walking under with some assistance.
That's true. I mean, Sullivan Roblet yesterday for France.
That was horrendous.
He did tear his ACL. That is the word out of the French camp. He's out for the weekend, and you know, you really hope that Dos Santos just sprained her knee. But even if it's not a ligament tear, you just wonder whether she'll be able to play in the next 2 days.
Australia trailing 12-7. This is critical. We're getting into the very pointy end of this showdown against Canada. And McGuckin just does enough to control. He's got some options up front. Doesn't go there at the moment. Comes in field. Looking for some options inside. The Australians around the corner. Egan Griffiths. Here's a chance for the Australians. Surely they can put this away. McGuckin again looking inside. Canada swarming. Counters on. Australia got to score here, and they do. So they come away with another one. But boy, it's maybe a little bit too late here.
Yeah, I mean, they're asking their defense to get a block, and there have been very, very, very few from this Australian team. It's going to take 5 straight breaks for the Aussies to win.
So Carr obliges, but boy, it was a laboured setup really by the Australians. And now they're going to give it back to the Canadian team with the scores 12-8. And if Canada come through here, they can sign Australia to another hefty defeat.
And you see Mark Lloyd looking up at the scoreboard. It's just for Canada. I mean, they're doing a good job. They're staying focused on the game at hand. But they just got to be sick.
So here is the Australian defense. It's riding on them to try and get something happening. They've got to wrest this disc off this accomplished Canadian team, who are just a goal away. Sata here, just a goal away, as I said, from sealing a memorable victory against their Commonwealth rivals. And that was an interference called by the Canadians.
Yeah, long mark of Andrews getting in the way of Kimura, but quick call and quick accept.
So Kimura has the disc back. Andrews, the captain, pressing hard here. Options. Around the corner they come. Wedge looking for some options. And there's a wonderful, oh my goodness, the intercept was on, but Andrews puts it down.
Oh, and interesting, this is a very interesting situation. The defense doesn't have to complete a catch for it to be a block, but the argument here from Bryson is that he caught it and he established possession and then he turned it over. But watching that replay, I don't think he ever had control of that disc. I think this should be the Aussies' disc here going the other way.
And it looks like that might be the concession, Charlie.
I think that's what's going to happen here.
Well, the Australians breathe and live again. And this is the long one. They're going super long here to Phillips, who's just got it inside. Wow. Great work, and across here to the ever-reliable Carr. At last, the Australians seem to have a little joie de vivre about them, Charlie.
It's taken all game, and they finally get that break. A great block, and then a nice huck out into space for their talisman, Cat Phillips. Great catch under pressure on the sideline with Kurohashi right there in coverage. And she brings it back and fires the blade into Carr.
Boy, they're happy about that, the Aussies, I can tell you. So it's 9, Australia, Canada 12. Very happy indeed. So, can Canada wrap it up with this play?
Second goal for Carr. Been rock solid this week.
McGuckin gets things underway. Here comes the mighty Canadian O.
Some intensity coming into the stadium.
Gallant was there. Setting up some options on the inside. Beaudry. And that is one of the first mistakes that we've seen from the Canadian O this morning.
Yeah, McGuckin trying to go for the poach here and coming into Gallant, who gets hit. And I think that's pretty clearly a foul, regardless of whether Gallant had fully completed that catch or not. His ability to finish that play was impeded by McGuckin colliding with him in honestly a dangerous way. I mean, that could have taken Gallant out. Don't love to see that, especially late in a game like this.
Gallant not letting that disc go, continuing to make his point. McGuckin reckons he's in the right. They're desperate, the Australians. They need to get their hand on this disc, but
I don't. McGuckin's had a couple of pretty bad plays this weekend. I think he was already given a talking to by the game advisors for a play into the legs just like this one. I don't understand what he's even trying to argue right now.
Foul accepted. It's going to be Canada.
okay, accepted.
And you know, the game advisors can't give cards like they would in soccer, but they can effectively warn a player that if you make a play like that again, you're going to be ejected from the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets that talking to once again after a bid in a game that doesn't matter.
Edmonds comes around the corner, gets things going here. We're going all the way to a spectacular Canadian grab, and the big boy in the team for exactly that reason, Mr. Quinn Snyder, drags it down for Canada, and it's memorable, and it's 13, and it's Australia 9.
And you just hope it's not a Pyrrhic victory for Canada. Dos Santos injures her knee on a defensive play, and we will see what her status is going forward into tomorrow. But a really, really nice showing for Team Canada in this one. Beautiful grab there at the end for Quinn Snyder's third goal, and really strong performances across the board for Canada. Molly Wedge was fantastic. Gallant, Oje Sama had 4 assists and a pair of goals, but it doesn't really matter. Good to see smiles on the Canadian faces here as they give the high fives, and they're all just hoping and praying that Dos Santos will be ready to go for tomorrow.
Australia silver medalists defending.
And they,
what has happened? Yeah,
0-3, and in danger of not winning a single game at this tournament. They're going to have to play a whole lot better if they want to even beat the host team, China.
Ominous for the Aussies, and it's 3-0 for the Canadian team. They have been pretty imperious so far here, and their domination of Pool B, and here is that discussion I think that we're getting involved with. That was McGuckin down there.
I don't blame Thomas Edmonds for going over and giving him a talking to. It's just a completely unnecessary play. He didn't have a clean lane to the disc, and he very well could have taken Gallant out of the game and out of the tournament.
And with DeSantos already down on the ground as well, clutching her knee, could you imagine?
It's really, it's going to leave a bad taste in the mouth of the Canadians.
So Team Australia for the moment bid farewell to their loyal fans here in this wonderful Chengdu sports facility. They've got to lick their wounds and come out tomorrow against a national team which will be absolutely on fire to try and bring them down. And Team Canada, well, another wonderful win for them, but the concern will be for a critical player, DeSantos, who went down heavily and out of that end zone. So there it is then. In the end, Pool B dominated by the Canadians. 3 games, 3 wins, and they've downed the defending silver medalists 13-9.
Yeah, the path gets harder for them if Dos Santos is unable to continue, but they have looked so sharp. They're still going to be challenging for a medal and even a gold, even if they have to play with 13.
More action in store for us here. There's another biggie coming up as we just have a quick look at confirming what the standings are at the moment. There you can see the Canada ahead of France, and all important showdown later on this evening, Charlie, France and Colombia, to decide who gets through out of this group with the Canadians.
That's going to be such an exciting game. So fired up for that one. But first we got Germany, Japan coming up next. And just under an hour. And you'll be hanging with us yes.
to bring us that one, Charlie. Can't wait. Charlie Eisenhood bringing us all this searing insight into the game of Ultimate, and looking forward to working with Charlie on that one again in the next hour or so. We'll take a break here, but just confirming the final scoreline. It is Canada 13 over Australia 9 at the World Games 2025 here in Chengdu.